Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. This video is for those of you guys out there that have to co-parent, we'll put that in quotes, the co-parenting part, with a narcissist, and you find yourself feeling frustrated over and over again, or basically time and time again. There are a couple of things that you can do to help to start alleviating this frustration, if you are doing some of the things that I'm going to be mentioning. Now, there's a such thing as continuing to hit our heads up against the wall, or trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. It's just not going to happen. You will have to cut the corners off the square and alter it, So this is what we had to do when we're dealing with a narcissist. Because we can't make them fit into what is prim and proper. We can't necessarily make them do the right things unless it's probably legally, or they just voluntarily do it for whatever agenda that they're doing it for. But we have to let go of certain kinds of expectations with them. And I know that's going to be like, you know what, that's not fair. That's not right. It took two to make this child and all this other stuff. And that's all very well, fine and well and accurate. But the reality of it is, if you are actually co-parenting with a narcissist, things are not typically going to be like a typical situation. The narcissist is less likely to be the responsible party on any level. Chances are they will always be inconsistent. They will never do minimally 50%. And it's not going to feel like you're co-parenting at all. It's going to feel like your child may see a distant relative every now and then that may do something on a special occasion. I mean, if you have it set up, usually because it went through the court where you can get consistent contributions from the narcissist, good for you. But for those of you who aren't, enforcing that legally, and then even then, they may try to jump through every hoop they can imagine to escape responsibility and accountability. So we have to stop hitting our heads up against the wall by trying to force them to be something that they're not, and chances are, unfortunately, will never be. Once you start dealing with it that way, your hopes are not going to be constantly being crushed, and you're not be constantly disappointed, because you're going to look at the source and deal with them from who they are. And I didn't say that was fair, right, or just. I'm just telling you what the reality is. And the quicker you accept reality, you will be one step closer to feeling a whole lot less frustrations than, what you're going to feel just from perhaps carrying their weight to begin with. That's a whole nother situation. But expecting them, continuously hoping and expecting for them to miraculously change or become this fair co-parenting person that really pulls their weight and contributes the way that they should. Let that be. If they, one day or for a week or for a month, they're doing the right thing for a year, or here sprinkles here and there, just let that be what it is. Don't take that as, oh, now everything is going to be great. You really have to let go of that standard with people like them, because they're not going to meet them. Remember, narcissists, they don't love anyone, including themselves. They don't love the child. They're not thinking about anyone's feelings but their own. So we have to stop, thinking and trying to force, arguing with them, telling them why they should be doing more. We're wasting our energy pretty much. and it's going to go in one ear and out the other, because it's not going to change. I mean, people can go ahead and comment down in the comment section and let me know, hey, did all that talking to your narcissist and arguing with them and trying to fight and prove your point and asking them all the time, did it work? Was it successful for you? Was it even successful in the short term? Forget the long term. Was it even successful in the short term? The best way to deal with these type of people is you're going to do one or two things. You're going to either deal with them legally, where you try to squeeze whatever you can out of them through the judicial system, depending on what their state is. And I don't mean the state that they live in, but the state that they're in. Is this a narcissist that can't hold down a job, or is this a narcissist that is in a power position in a corporation and they're actually making money? But trust me, they will fight just as much as the broke narcissist to keep you from getting what you deserve. So then you have to consider, is it worth the energy and the effort? You know, you really have to weigh your pros and cons, because sometimes we can be right or we can be peaceful. You can spend your child's whole childhood running in and out of court trying to twist this narcissist arm and bank account to get pennies, or maybe even get a little more than pennies. But the amount of energy and duress, stress that you're going to put into that, we have to weigh it and just consider, you know, what is it worth to me? What is most important to me? So yeah, either you're going to deal with them through the court system or just have a relaxed position. I mean that. Just let them, pretty much, if you want, let them come and go as they please. When they want to spend time with your child, if you can accommodate it. When they want to provide something, let them. And then outside of that, just chill out. And I know you're going to be like, Lakia, are you serious? Just chill out? Well, if you're not going to take the legal position, just chill out. It's their loss, guys. And one day, believe it or not, they're going to have to answer to that. And it may not be through you, but it will be through God. One day they'll have to answer for it. All you can do right now is focus on being the best parent that you can. Put your energy into doing everything that you can to provide for your children. That's where your energy needs to be, not in trying to continuously crash your head up against the wall, trying to force someone to be something or give something that they may not have or don't want to give, or going to fight you tooth and nail to give to you. You know, we're not dealing with a respectable person. We're not dealing with someone that has a certain kind of moral compass. They're sleeping good at night still in their own ignorance, but they are, you know. So don't you put yourself in a situation where you're not. Because I don't know about you, when I'm stressed out, I can't be the best parent that I want to be for my child. My mind is scattered, you know. I just want to go to bed. I want to curl up in a fetal position, you know, when I feel like massive amounts of stress and all this stuff. So I really want you guys to just learn how to deal with that narcissist with a wooden spoon. Just deal with them as a wooden spoon. I'm telling you, it will save you a lot of stress. Now, there's other things that could be going on. Like if you feel like, you know, your child is unsafe, you don't want the narcissist to be alone with your child. You know, these are whole other types of issues that I'm not going to address in this particular video. In this particular video, I'm just talking about that inevitable feeling that you're going to feel when you're co-parenting with a narcissist, and where you're basically carrying all the weight and doing the work. You're going to have that feeling, and it's, you know, and you don't know what it might cost you. It might cost you to have to get a second job, you know, spend less time with your child. These things can happen. And I'm not saying any of it is fair, but even the peace of mind of having that second job and not just solely relying on that narcissist, whose chances are incredibly inconsistent anyway, it's a certain amount of peace that'll come with that. And your children won't be children forever. And that season of your life is not going to last forever. And, you know, children know when they are loved and taken care of, it will come back around. God blesses the single parent. When he sees you doing everything that you can do for your child, he's going to bless you. You just do your best. You do your best, and he will do the rest. You do your best, and God surely will do the rest. You know, because I know how that feels. I know how that feels. You know, I was married with a narcissist and for over a decade, and I have 4 children with him. You know, I didn't even realize that he was a narcissist until well after the fact, because I was 19 when I married him. You know, he was my first boyfriend. I didn't know my left from my right. So I went, you know, through my 20s. By the end, in my 30s, then I actually realized what he was after the fact, because after him, when I eventually started dating again, I was dating more of them, and I'm like, what in the world? And one day I just really had to figure that out and get to the bottom of it. But his way of dealing with the situation is, you know, I did take him to court for child support, but he wanted that. He was like, I don't want to meet you and give you money. I'd rather you take me to child support. And after he said it several times, is exactly what I did. So we never see him, and I just get money from him. That's it. And it's not even the kind of money that I should get for 4 kids, really. And I took him to court for an increase one time, and he did everything he could to fight that. He actually wanted to get it to 0 when he has no involvement in their life at all. He wanted to actually get it down to 0 when he actually has no hands-on, no time spent in, and wasn't planning on spending any time. That's how sick he was. It's very sad. I mean, that didn't happen. Thank God for that. But, you know, this is what you're dealing with. This is the kind of person you're dealing with. They're only thinking about themselves. But ironically, even when they think they're thinking about themselves, they're slighting themselves at the same time. Because they're the ones missing out on their childhood. They're the ones not pulling their weight. They're the ones building up that negative karma. So, you know, I don't want you guys to be beating your heads up against the wall trying to beat this narcissist into a submission that just won't happen. Free yourself from that and, you know, choose an approach. You're either going to try to make them do stuff legally if you feel like it's worth your energy, time, effort, resources, you know, or you're going to just deal with them as they come. Deal with them as they come, knowing that it's going to be uneven, knowing they're going to be inconsistent. It's almost like it's worse than co-parenting with a teenager at that point, you know. And find a way in your life to de-stress. Because being a single parent can be stressful. You're managing a lot. You're doing the work of 2 people. You're doing that. Pat yourself on the back for that. Pat yourself on the back for that. But make sure that you have spaces and places in your life where you are, you know, taking time out for yourself in a way that is putting back into yourself. Because the situation is depleting you. It's depleting you because it takes energy to raise children and resources. And you have to come up with that time every day, every month after month, year after year. So make sure that you are showing yourself absolutely all the self-love possible. Do stuff that makes you happy. You know, even if it's a monthly spa treatment, don't give that to yourself. If that's going to make you happy, give that to yourself. Get the foot massage. If whatever it is, if it's taking a weekend vacation without your kids and they're going to your sister, your mom, or whatever, and you're having that space and you're traveling here and there and you're doing that once every 2 months and that's your treat to yourself, do that. Like, find things to do. And then it could be little things, you know, vacations, you know, those are bigger things. It could be smaller things. If you want to buy yourself something, you know, and then every day we can be doing things to center ourselves, meditating before we start our day and at the end, praying all throughout the day. These are things to keep us grounded and keep our peace while we're on this journey of, you know, being a single parent, really. All right, guys, we're over 15 minutes, so I'm going to stop this video here, but, you know, don't try to force the narcissist. Anytime you force someone in life to do something, they're not doing it from a sincere place anyway. They're just not. Now, and like I said, if you're not doing it legally, just forget it. You're wasting your time, your energy, and your source. All right, so if this video resonates with you, you can go ahead and hit the like button. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to this channel. I will be making more videos about co-parenting, you know, with the narcissist, with toxic people in the future, and I'll, you know, hit different angles of it. But this is the number one thing that gets people right off the bat. They get stuck in this cycle of trying to convince this narcissist, trying to beat them into, like I said, a submission that just isn't going to happen. You're just going to get more furious and upset. We know they don't take accountability. We know I'm sorry is kryptonite to them. They're not going to take accountability. They're not going to make amends. If you legally can make them have to do something, that's one thing. And like I said, weigh your pros and cons with that. The effort, the time, the energy, you know, that's going to take. I definitely weigh my pros and cons with things, and sometimes it's just not even worth it. for a whole bunch of reasons, even other legal issues. You just weigh your pros and cons, you know. But you guys be blessed. You be blessed, all right? And God will bless you. You are blessed. Okay, see your blessings. Have the gratitude. Don't live in the negativity, and don't be swallowed by what they're not doing. Don't be swallowed up by that. Don't let that swallow you and start chipping and nipping away at your happiness, guys, all right? So until next time, please, please, please take care. All right, guys.